Hello everyone, welcome back to Dibya classes. So now we have completed the chapter functions. But the one single question remains. Why are we using functions? That is, why you are using more than one function. In class 9, we did hundreds of programs, only using one function. But now I am telling you that in class 10, we will be using more than one function. So are there any advantages? Let us understand this with a simple example. So you got a program, write a program to input two numbers, write a program to input two numbers and find the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulo division, that is the remainder. To get the remainder you have to do total 5 things. Write a program to input two numbers. Let these two numbers be integer numbers. For now let it be integer numbers. So write a program to input two integer numbers and find the addition, subtraction, multiplication and division and modulo division of these two numbers. This is a class 9 program. The same program will be doing using multiple functions also. Okay, so now let us do the same program that we did in class 9. So what is the program? You have to input two integers numbers. Integer numbers means byte short int long. Generally we take int. And you have to calculate 5 things. That is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulo division. Okay. So class, I will give a class name. I will have a function name. And I will input two values. We need two values to calculate all these mathematical calculations. I will also take a variable. Let it be C. And I will first add those two numbers. And then print it. Right? Very easy question. You already did all these questions in class 9. Then subtraction. So I'll make it a little bit faster. I'll just copy paste it. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulo division. Fine. So I got two values from the user. Then using the variable C, first I added those numbers, then got it printed, then subtraction, then multiplication, then division, then modulo division. This is a simple class 9 program. Now we'll do the same program using function. So how to know how many functions are required in this program? Now this program has just one function, but now I will be using multiple functions to do the same program. So how will you know how many functions need to be used here? So what you have to do is you have to divide this program into multiple parts. Or assume that this is a big program, right? This is a big program, calculator program. This is a calculator program. And this calculator program can do many things. That is, it can do addition, it can do subtraction, it can do multiplication, it can do division and it can do modulo division. Okay, it's a big program. So this big program actually has 5 parts. That is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulo division. So addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulo division. So for example, someone will ask, write a program to add two numbers. So it is a program by itself. Someone will ask, input two numbers and subtract them. So that is also a program. So individually each is one program, right? Individually each is one program. Program for addition, program for division, program for multiplication, program for subtraction and program for modulo division. So we have to divide the program into smaller programs. Okay, and each small program will be a function by itself. So addition is a function, subtraction will be another function, multiplication will be another function, division will be one function, and modulo division will be another function. So this program can be divided into 5 small programs, and these small programs will be using each function. So for these small programs you will be using one function. So to add I will use one function, to subtract I will use another function, to multiply I will use another function, to divide I will use another function, and to do modulo division I will use another function. So before, in one function we used to do everything. In this program there was one function, and inside this function we did all the 5 jobs. But now we'll not do using one function, but for each job, addition is a job, subtraction is a job, each is one job. For each job we'll be using one function. So what is the advantage? The advantage comes in inheritance. Though inheritance programs are not in our syllabus, so this will help you in the future classes. Maybe when we'll be doing engineering, or you will do more in software engineering where you will be using inheritance. So how will inheritance help here? See, for example, there are 2 guys, guy number 1 and guy number 2. Guy number 1 and guy number 2. 1, 2. So the first one wrote a program, a calculator program that can do addition, subtraction and multiplication using one function only. He used only one function. The second guy wrote the same program to do plus, minus and multiplication, but this guy used 3 functions. One function to do addition, second function to do subtraction, and third function to do multiplication. Right? So the third guy comes up and he asks both of them. He asks both of them that I want a program which can do addition, division and modulo division. Addition, division and modulo division. So here he has a program for addition, subtraction and multiplication. This guy also has a software for addition, subtraction, multiplication, but they don't have this program that will do addition, modulo division and division. Right? So what to do now? They have to write a program. Okay, these 2 guys already have program for addition. They already have the code how to add 2 numbers. Okay, so they don't have to create this one, right? But they have to create for division and for modulo division. Now the problem comes. So this guy will create a program. He already has addition, but when we will use inheritance, because he already has, so if you already have a program, you will use the concept of inheritance because reusability of the program. The advantage of inheritance is you already have the program, you can reuse it. So when we will be using inheritance, all addition, subtraction and multiplication will be inherited into the new program. Okay, and then in the new program he will do programming for division and modulo division. So here the new software will have all the 5 things. Though this guy is asking only for 3 things, but this software will have all the 5 things. Why? Because when he will use the concept of inheritance, all plus, minus, multiplication, everything will get inherited. But in this situation here, when this guy will use inheritance, he will only inherit the function plus. He will only inherit the function plus. That is the advantage. Here this is a single function. So when we will do inheritance, the whole function will get imported and everything is there. But here each function has different thing. So he will only import what? The plus function. So he will only have the plus. And he have to develop program for division and modulo division. So what is the advantage here? See, for addition, assume that for addition it is 1 lakh rupees. For subtraction it is 1 lakh rupees. For multiplication, this is 1 lakh rupees. Okay, but will he charge for subtraction and multiplication? No, because he is not demanding it, but he has to give, because subtraction and multiplication is basically free for him. So for a cost of 3 lakhs, he has to give 5 lakhs worth of software. So that is a loss for the company. But this guy only gave plus. So this is 3 lakh software and he will buy for 3 lakhs. So he is in a profitable situation. So basically, when we use functions, later on when we will be doing inheritance, that will help us in doing perfect inheritance. So when we will be doing inheritance, only we will acquire those things that are required. Why to acquire everything? Why to import everything which are unnecessary? Okay, therefore it is advisable to divide the programs into small parts. These small parts are known as modules, and each module should be a function in itself. So whenever you write a program, don't write everything in a single function. In future, when you will become a software engineer, for example, in the future, you will never write everything in a single function. Okay, you have to divide the program into multiple parts, multiple independent parts, and each part will be a program in itself. Each part will be stored in different functions, so that it will be easier for doing inheritance. Okay, understood? Therefore you are using functions. Now for this program that we wrote in class 9, we will be dividing this program into a function program or multiple function program. So there are 5 parts of this program. So how many functions will be required? Will require total 5 functions. Function number 1 to add and print, function number 2 to subtract and print, function number 3 to multiply and print, function number 4 to divide and print, function number 5 to do modulo division and print. So let us divide this, and then we will see if we need to add anything else. So I will write a function public void, for example, add, and here I will do addition and print it. Similarly, I have to write 5 functions to do 5 things. So in the first function we will do addition, in the second function we will do subtraction, in the third we will do multiplication, in the fourth we will do division, and last one we will do modulo division. So 5 functions we will be doing 5 things. But before that we have to take some input. The input will be done by main function. So always there is a main function in a function related program. So what is this main function? Okay, so let us understand. For example, you are the CEO of a company, the head of the company, okay, chief executive officer, CEO of the company, and you have hired 5 employees because this is your company, and you have hired 5 employees. So since you are the CEO of the company, you are not going to do all the jobs because your company will be having many jobs, right? For example, there are 5 jobs in your company, and these 5 jobs are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulo division. So in your company there are 5 types of works, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division and modulo division. You are the CEO. Okay, CEO will only give instructions. Okay, so here what happens? So someone will come and tell you, the CEO, not the employees. Someone will come and tell the CEO that I want a software for addition, or I want a software for subtraction, or I want a software that has both addition and subtraction. They will tell the CEO, he is the boss of the company. He will not tell the employees that create a software for me. Okay, so when this guy will tell you, that is nothing but he is giving you input. He is giving you input. Input to whom? CEO. this CO is called the main function. So in all function program, we'll be having a function that will be a main function. And this main function, the job of the main function is to handle other functions. The main function is the CEO and he is going to handle the employees. The employees are the other function. Okay. So this guy gave the input that take two numbers and add it. That is the input. So what will the CEO do? The CEO will call addition. This person who is expert in doing addition. Will he call subtraction? No, because this guy is expert on subtraction. This guy is expert for multiplication. So here the CEO will call this guy. Call whom? Call this guy, because he is the expert for addition. The CEO will call him and tell him that please add these two numbers. And then after adding, what will do? The employee will tell the CEO that I have added the number and this is the answer. Will he say the client directly? No, he is not going to say that to the client. He is not going to say to the client. He will return it to the CEO. So these two functions are interacting. These two functions are interacting. The CEO will call and tell the employee that these are the two numbers. Add it and reply me. And after adding it, he will return the value. So this is a concept of call by value with return. So this is a concept of call by value with return. Okay. So we'll be using this concept in this program. So the main function will get the input, and for addition, you will call the function addition. Now how to call the function addition? By writing the function name, and you are calling and you have to give the value. If you don't give the value, how will the employee add it? So we will give the value. So remember this A and B. Okay, this A and B will not have any data type because we have already declared A and B here. A variable can be declared once. We studied in class 9. A can be declared only once in a particular function. Okay. Inside a function, A can be declared only once. So you called add and gave him the value. So the controller will jump from this place to the add function. So the value of A will be stored in P and the value of B will be stored in Q. Now what will the function add do? It will add the number that are present in P and Q and will store it in the variable C, and you will not print it. Will not be printing here. Why? Because you have to return the value to the CEO. So we will write a return statement. If you print it, that means the employee is saying the answer to the client. No. Here you will say the answer to the CEO and the CEO will again tell to the client that this is the answer. Okay. So we'll return whom? We'll return it to the main function, to the CEO function. Okay. So return what? The calculated value that is present in C. So whenever there is a return statement, this cannot be void. So what we will write here? I will write a data type. What data type? The data type of the return value. I am returning C. The variable C has the data type int. So here I have to write int. And when you return, it will automatically go to the place where you called. You called where? You called in this function, that is add. This is the calling function. But you are returning with some value. And this value need to be stored somewhere. So here you have to store in a place. Let the variable be x. And what will be the data type x? What type of value I am sending? I am sending int value. So data type of x will be int. Data type of x will be int. Understood? Okay. So what happens? The client gives two values. Okay, this is the main function. The value, this is a parameter input. For example, I gave 5 and 10. Then I called the function add and gave him the value 5 and 10. 5 was stored in P and 10 was stored in Q. The function add then calculated the value and then returned the value, and it will return automatically where it was called. It will get returned to the main function, and the value 15, right? He gave 5 and 10 and the value 15 will be stored in the variable x. Then what is the next job? The next job is to print. The next job is to print the value, that is to tell the client. Now similarly we have to do for all the types of function. We did only for addition. Now we'll do for subtraction, multiplication, division and modulo division. So after completing the task of addition, I will next call to the function sub. The work of the function sub is to subtract. So I will call sub here. The cursor will jump to this function. The value of A and B will be stored in P and Q. The value will subtracted, but I will not print here. I will do what? I will do return. The value will return back and will be stored in variable X. Okay, and we will print the value. Similarly, we will call multiplication. Let the function name be mul, then division, and then modulo division. Multiplication, division and modulo division. Remember, the function name here and the function name here should match. If it is not matching, how will it will go? For example, your friend Abhishek is going, but instead of Abhishek you are calling Soumya. How will you know that you are calling him? The function name should match. If it will not match, the computer will give you error because there will be no such function exist. For example, here you will write, instead of sub you will write subtraction, but there is no function known as subtraction, so it will give you error. I will show you. For example, here you are writing subtract, and when I will run it, it will give you error because there is no function called subtraction. So you have to write sub only because sub function exists here. Similarly, when you call mul, it will go to the mul function, and here will not print but again return the value. See, you can give brackets, you may not give brackets, it is optional. You can keep the variable inside parenthesis, these are called parenthesis, or without parenthesis also. Here without writing variable also you can write value directly. If you write 5, 5 will be written, but I don't want to return 5. Here I want to return the value of C. Okay. Similarly, and here in sub, since you are writing return, here you have to write the return data type, that is int. Here we will write int and return the value C. Here we will again write int and return the value C. All are integer values, so I am returning C. If it would have been double, we will write double. Here again return C. And again here int. Always remember, if there is return statement, you have to write a return data type. If there is no return statement, you have to write void. Clear? No syntax error. This is a perfect example of a call by value with return program. This is a call by value with return program because here we are calling and giving some value. So therefore this is call by value. These are all call by value. And all the functions are also returning the value. And all the functions are also returning the value. So this is an example of call by value with return. Okay, understood how the program is working? Okay, I will again run the program now. So here can you see there are so many functions, but which is the main function? The main function, obviously. Okay, the main function, because now assume that I am the client, so I will call to whom? To the CEO. Who is the CEO here? That is void main, because I have to call him and give him the question, that is add A and B, subtract A and B, divide A and B, multiply A and B, modulo divide A and B. Okay, so first I have to call main function and I will give the value 5 and 10. Then the main function will tell addition to add, subtraction to subtract, multiplication to multiply, division to divide, and modulo division to modulo, and give return back the answer, so that the main function can tell the answer to the client. So I will get the answer directly here. Okay, I am getting all the answers here. Addition 15, subtraction 5 minus 10 minus 5, multiplication 50, division 0, remainder 5. Okay, I am getting all the answers. Since I have written print, it is showing in single line. If you write println, it will show in different lines. Okay, so here actually what happened, I gave the value here in the main function. To the main function I gave the value. This is the CO function. This function is going to handle all other function. Okay, all other function means we have 5 tasks to do. So there are 5 plus 1. Okay, 5 function to do the task, 1 function that will control all other function. That one function is called the main function, the CO. Then I called add, gave him the value, the add functions added it and returned back. I stored the return value in X, then printed it. So the value printed was 15. Then again I called subtract, it did subtraction, returned back, I stored in X, then printed the value X. So the answer was minus 5. I called mul, it went to the function mul, it multiplied, it returned back the value, it was stored in X, and then the value X was printed. Similarly for division and similarly for modulo division. Remember, see now this function will end. So after the function ends here, the main function ends here, it will not move automatically to the next function. After the function ends here, it will not move to the next function, that is add. It will only go to the next function when calling function or the calling syntax is written. If the cursor will not jump automatically from one function to another function, it will go only when a function calls another function, right? So you will not go to anyone's house directly. For example, there is a birthday party and the friend didn't call you. Will you go directly into his house? No, you will go into his house only when he calls you, invites you for his birthday. Similarly here also, only if you call, like here main function is calling add, then only you can go to add. It will not go to add if the main function is not going to call. Understood? Okay, now what we'll do the same program, or we'll convert this same program into call by value no return. Call by value no return. So here what will happen, we'll give the value also, but without returning we'll print here. Means here what will happen, the employee will tell the answer to the client directly without returning it back to the CU. So here there will be no return statement because this is call by value no return. So there will be no return. If there is no return statement, here the return data type will be void. Always return statement is there, you have to write some data type. You have to check which data type to write. If there is no return statement, you have to write void. So here without returning, I will write the print statement. Not print X, I will print C. Why? Because the value is in C. You have to observe the variables, what variables are being used. Okay, X is not the variable of add, X is the variable of main function. Okay, every function has their own variable. Don't transfer the variables from one function to another function. Similarly here also for subtraction, call by value and no return. So we'll print here. No return means void, and we will print here. No return means void, and we will print here. No return means void, and we will print here. So here what is happening, the client will give the value, you call the function add, okay, and you gave him the value of A and B. You got the value, you calculated, but you didn't return anything. Okay, so now after completing this function, it will come automatically to here only. Even if you don't return, it will automatically get returned to this area. But here I am not returning any value. So do we need a variable to store? No, we don't need a variable store. If you write a variable, then what will be stored? Because you are not returning anything. If you return some value, I will store in the variable. If you are not returning, we don't require any variable here. So remember that if there is no return statement, there will also be no variable before the calling function. Understood? And there will be no print statement also. Why? Because the client has already got his answer. Even you cannot also give some. Here the CEO will not able to tell any answer because these employees are not telling him. They are telling the client. They are not returning anything to the employee. So what will print here? So here you will only call and give the value. So this is call by value. You are calling and giving the values. And there is no return. So this is an example of call by value, no return. So next concept is call by no value with return. So we'll convert this program into call by no value with return. So here the client is not giving any value. The client is not giving any value. So how will you give values to your employees? Obviously, no values means you also cannot give some value. So this is call by no value. You will be calling the function add, that is the employee add, the function sub, the function mul. You will be calling all the functions, but you are not able to give any value. Why? Because you yourself don't have any value. So this is call by no value. Okay. So here basically the client is asking, take any value and add it. So since there is no value to give, here the parameter is not required, because you are not taking any value from your employer, from the CEO. Okay. So here also this will be empty. Always remember this part, the calling function parameter, which is known as the actual parameter, and the formal parameter here, these two. Okay, the function you are sending should always match. What should match? Remember, for example, I am just giving an example. You are giving A and B. So here you have to write two variables. So if you are giving three variables, you have to write three variables. If you have four variables, you have to write four variables. And remember, the data type should also match. For example, if A is int, B is double, C is char, and D is boolean. So this should also match. Here A value will be stored in P, not A value will be stored in Q. Okay, it doesn't happen like this. It is in an order. It always follows the order. A value will be stored in P, B in Q, C in C, D in D. Or you can change the variables. Okay. So actually these variables and this variable will remain same. But what will happen, we'll be studying in future classes. Okay. For now, write different variables. Okay. So here A will be stored in P, B will be stored in Q, C will be stored in R, and D will be stored in the variable S. Okay. But here see, A is int type and P is int type. It is matching. But I told that B is of double type. Here is double written? No. So it will give you error. So here you will write double. It should match. The data type should also match. C is char type. So you have to write here char. D is boolean type. So you have to write here boolean. So remember this. Even the data types of the variable and here in the formal parameter should always match. The actual parameter and the formal parameter should always match, both the data type and the number of parameters. So now since there is no value, this is called by no value, there will be no value to give. But here we will be returning. Returning means int type. So you have to write instead of void, you have to write int. But return what? There is no P and Q. Take some value and add it. A random value. Because the client said that take any value, add it and give me. Take any value, subtract it and give me. I don't want to say give any number to you. Okay. So here we'll take value directly in this type of program. This call by no value program. Take value directly and print it. Take value directly and print it. take value directly and print it. But, and here it will be int, since you are returning, it will be int, int and int. Okay, fine. Since you are returning, you have to store somewhere. Since you are returning, you have to store somewhere. So you have to write a variable because you're storing the value. So you have to write some variable here, or else where will you store the values? And now after storing the values, what we'll do? We'll tell the answer to the client. So you have to write the print statements here, because here in this case the CEO is telling the answer to the client. So now we'll be having our print statements. Clear? But in board exam it tells that you have to take input from the client, but using call by no value. Means the client, the CEO will not have the values. The client will give the values directly to you. The client will give. Here you are taking directly. The client will give. So what we'll do? Go to chapter 8, library classes. Okay, go to chapter 8, library classes. We studied about buffer reader and scanner. Use buffer reader and scanner to take input. So buffer reader and scanner is such a type of input methods where if you want, you can take input wherever you want. So here you will be using buffer reader and scanner. So what we will do? Instead of taking value directly in board exam, instead of taking value directly, what we will do? We'll be using buffer reader. So what we will do? I'll just give you an example here. For example, if I am taking using scanner, you will write scanner x equal to new scanner system.in system.out.println, because before taking input you have to write print statement. Enter two values and then take the input. Int p equal to x dot next int, this is integer value, and int q is equal to x dot next int. And then instead of 5 and 10 you can write p and q. So here you don't need to take value by yourself, but here also if you want, you can ask your client, give me value directly. You don't have to give to the CEO. So this is called by no value, because CEO is not giving you any value, but you are taking the value directly from the client. But if you want to take the value directly from the client, you have to either use scanner or buffer. In board exam, this is preferable. When in board exam, you will be writing call by no value with return programs, or call by no value no return programs. Okay, both type of program. It is advisable to use scanner. And when using scanner, you are also have to write throws input mismatch exception in the method you are taking the input. Okay, and before using scanner, what you have to do? You have to write the import statement, that is java.util. If you are using buffer reader, you have to use java.io. Okay, so we will be adding this line to all the programs. Here we will be doing subtraction. Here we will be doing multiplication. Here we will be doing division, and here we will be doing modulo division. Understood? So in each function you are writing scanner class. Similarly, you can also write buffer reader class. It's your choice. So now let us run this program. Okay, so we have to run the main function here. So it is asking enter two values. Actually, where it is asking? It is asking in the add function, not in the main function. Main function called add function, and in add function the scanner is working. Enter two values, for example 5 and 10. 15. Where is this value 15 coming from? It was returned back to the main function. It was stored in the variable x, and then we printed the variable x. The value of x was 15. enter two values, 5 and 10 again, for example. Answer is minus 5. 9 and 10, 90, multiplication. 6 and 7, 0, because the numerator is smaller. Modulo division, sorry, the remainder is 6. Understood? Okay, so here actually what happened? The main function, you call the main function, the main function doesn't have any value, he just called add. Add directly asked the client to enter the values. It was stored in P and Q, it was added and stored in C, and the value was returned to whom? To the CEO, which was stored in X, and then we printed the value X. Similarly, we called sub, got the answer back, printed it. Called mul, mul called the client, got the answer, multiplied it, returned back to the CEO, and the CEO printed it. And similarly for division and modulo division. So this is example of call by no value with return. Now the last one, call by no value, no return. So here they will be calling, but will be not be able to give any value because this is call by no value. So call by no value means you have to use scanner and buffer. Okay, don't take the value directly, it is not. So don't take the value directly, it will not look good in board exam. Always try to use scanner and buffer. But now we'll be not returning anything. Means if we will not return, we'll print here directly, means we will tell the answer to the client directly. And since we are not returning, this will be void and there will be no variable here. Similarly for sub, for mul, division and modulo division. We'll change for everyone. Void. Again for mul, void. Void for division and void for modulo division. Understood? Clear? So this is a program for call by no value. We are giving no values, and since you don't have any return statement, let's delete this also, because you are not going to print anything, right? So now we are just calling, and the employees are taking the value from the client directly and also telling the answer to the client directly. So what is your job? Basically nothing. They are doing everything by themselves. You are just calling them. You are just doing what? You are just calling them. So today we understood about what are the advantages of writing multiple function program. Then we took example of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulo division combined, a calculator program, to understand how this program that we already wrote in class 9 can be divided into multiple functions, and how different types of call by values, that is call by value with return, call by value no return, call by no value with return, and call by no value no return. All these 4 types are written using the same program. First we wrote using call by value, no value, then with other types. So similarly 90% of the class 9 programs can be divided into multiple functions, and you can implement all the 4 types of call by values into it. Okay, so in the next class I will be giving you some assignments and you have to solve these assignments, and later on I will be giving you solution. So function is a very important chapter. Future chapters will be dependent on this. Please go through this video as much times as you want, because function is not an easy job to understand. It takes time. Be patient. Run the video multiple times. Understand it. If any doubt, you can ask the doubts in discussion forum. So now I will take a leave. Have a nice day. Thank you.